Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well and teach his truth with all honesty and sincerity. Salutations to you brothers around the four corners of the earth that push this truth with all honesty and sincerity with great diligence to wake up the hopeful elect of Israel. Double shalom to you, Akim Nek. Come looking like the heathen, but you are in fact of the stock of Israel. And you hold near and dear this truth and follow the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your abilities, wherever you may be scattered. Shalom to the few. Sincere Akwathium that listen and learn in silence, playing your creation role, as the Lord commanded you to, which is in all subjection. Reverencing your husband, being his pillar of rest. It's your brother Isaiah from GMS St. Louis, and I'm going to do a video over the multiple wives situation and what's in the law, despite what this Western world believes, what they have been indoctrinated to believe is the right order, and with these camps that are not pushing the truth in its entirety, are saying. We'll go to the scriptures and see, is multiple wives a sin or is it not? Or is this just a way, for these camps to fit into Esau's system and be appeasing to their enemy instead of rightly dividing the word of truth? You see, a lot of these people push this so they can appease to the woman, when we're here to rightly divide the word of truth. Now, I think this guy is called the Saint, but he had a live and he was asking this question. And I play this and I'll grab precepts, and Lord willing, you be edified.
Class here. What about the Nigerian? Were times when the Israelites were in rule, had multiple wives in these places. You know why? Because they were in poverty. They were always at the bottom.
They were enslaved. Okay.
Brothers read, everything that those brothers read were times when the Israelites were in rulership. We're not in rulership today. We don't make the laws.
Were the Israelites in rulership in Egypt? No, they were slaves in Egypt, but didn't they greatly multiply and spoil the Egyptians? How do you think they did that? Because the old world knew that it was not wrong for a man to have multiple wives. In fact, it was in Rome, they pushed this monogamy thing as a punishment to the people. And it's no coincidence it's around again in America, because these are the same Romans that was ruling in. It's the same people. The Edomites, man. And we know they're adverse to the truth and to the correct order on what the Heavenly Father set up, man. They are against righteousness, man. Just look at the things they pass and the laws they pass today that they say is right, which it's against nature.
We don't own the government. We don't have the abundance of wealth here. We're not the ruling class here.
What about the Nigerians? What if you're a Nigerian in Nigeria and your name is Dangote and you're a billionaire and you just built an oil refinery that produces more oil than any refinery that was created by any European? Does he get to have multiple wives?
So no, according to scripture, no. Because that's
But you didn't answer my initial question. Though. I do want to see if we can get an answer. The initial question was, is it a sin?
Yes. It is a sin to have multiple wives. Yes, sir.
Yes, I appreciate that. My initial question, though, I do want.
And he's lying. Because if it was a sin, the Lord would have a punishment for that. But in fact, the Lord gave us the law, statutes, and commandments on how to handle multiple wives, how to deal with them, and what's the order. So we'll go to the book of Exodus 21 and 10. And it reads, if he take him another wife, so that's means it's possible, or if this was to occur. Her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So he's supposed to take care of her food, her clothing, and he's supposed to lie with her as his duty of marriage. So he can't get a wife and then diminish those things from the other wife. He has to do that for them both. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. So there's your divorce. There's your multiple wives, and there's your divorce. If he cannot sustain both wives, and it says she shall go out free without money. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Matter of fact, let's go to Genesis 4. And we'll start at verse 16. And Cain, who had the same spirit as Esau Edom, in the reincarnation, went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Arad, and Arad begot Mehujael, and Mehujael begot Methuselah, and Methuselah begot Lamech. And Lamech took unto him two wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah. And Adah bare Jabal. He was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother name was Jabal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah bare also, and Zillah she also bare Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. But this is the point. He had multiple wives, even going into Jacob. So these Edomites know that it's unlawful, but they're against, the righteous order. They're all about oppression and disturbing the natural order and harmony. So even Esau and these Edomites had multiple wives, man. But as a punishment, they put that in place to oppress the people, man. Even Jacob, man, had 4 wives, man. 2 wives were sisters and their handmaidens. And the nation of Israel was created by those 4 women. Did the Lord strike him down? Did the Lord curse Jacob for having multiple wives? No. He's his name changed to the Prince of the Power, or the Prince of God. And his seed is blessed, man. They're the chosen seed. How is it something a sin if the Lord gave us rules and regulations to abide by within that situation? Let's go to Deuteronomy 21 and 15. What does it say? Domestic relations. Let's go to 15, and it reads, if a man have 2 wives, one be loved, and another hated, like the one he loves more than the other, or his favorite. And they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he hath, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. You see? So there again, it implies that a man can have multiple wives. And there is an order on how to go about dealing with that and dealing with them and the children. So how is it a sin? Let's go to book of 1 Samuel. So this is a story of Nabal being a churlish man and wicked, and he ended up dying, man. And guess what happened to his wives? We'll jump to the point. Um, Matter of fact, let's start at verse 14. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master. And he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt. Neither missed we anything as long as we were conversing with them when we were in the fields. They were a wall unto us, both by night and day. And the while we were with them keeping the sheep, now therefore know and consider what thou wilt do, for evil is determined against our master and against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial that a man cannot speak to him. So he was being a nigga, man. He wouldn't even I believe they asked him of bread and water to sustain the soldiers that were out, and he basically shut them down. Let me go back up to verse 9. And when David's young men came, they spake to Nabal according to all the words in the name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, Who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? You see, he was being a nigga, man. You know who King David is. But that upset David, man. Going back down to verse 18. Then Abigail made haste, who was Nabal's wife, and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready, dressed, and 5 measure of parched corn, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on asses. And she said unto her servants, Go on before me, behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal. And it was so, as she rode on the ass, that she came down by the covert of the hill, And behold, David and his men came down against her as she met them. Now David had said, Surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow hath in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertained unto him. And he hath requited me evil for good. So he kept make sure it wasn't nothing messed up. And then he snapped on him like basically, oh well, didn't wanna even, you know, give them bread and water, man, or nothing to eat. So and more also do Yahweh unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertain to him by the morning light, any that pisseth against the wall. So and more also do Yahweh unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertain to him by the morning light, and any that pisseth against the wall. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass, and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, Upon me, my Lord, upon me let this iniquity be, and let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thine audience, and hear the words of thine handmaid. Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal. For as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is within him. And that's basically what it means, a fool. But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young men of my Lord whom thou didst send. Now therefore, my Lord, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeing the Lord hath withholden thee from coming to shed blood, and from avenging thyself with thine own hand, now let thine enemies and they that seek evil to my Lord be as Nabal. And now this blessing which thine handmaid hath brought unto my Lord, let it even be given unto the young men that follow my Lord. I pray thee, forgive the trespass of thine handmaid, for the Lord will certainly make my Lord a sure house, because my Lord fighteth the battles of the Lord. And evil hath not been found in thee all thy days. So she's, you know, she's basically pleading, you know, for her husband's case. And she's saying, you know, David is a righteous man. He fights the battles of our Lord. And she's calling him Lord because he's king at the time. Yet a man is risen to pursue thee and to seek thy soul, but the soul of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of life with the Lord thy power, and the souls of thine enemies, them shall he sling out as out of the middle of a sling. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord shall have done to my Lord according to all the good that he hath spoken concerning thee, and shall have appointed thee ruler over Israel, that this shall be no grief unto thee, nor offense of heart unto my Lord, either that thou hast shed blood causeless, or that my Lord hath avenged himself. But when the Lord shall have dealt well with my Lord, then remember thine handmaid. And David said to Abigail, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh of Israel, which sent thee this day to meet me. And blessed be thy advice, and blessed be thou which hast kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hand. So David was ready to kill Nabal. For in very deed, as the Lord Yahweh of Israel liveth, which hath kept me back from hurting thee, except thou hast hasted and come to meet me, surely there had not been left unto Nabal by the morning light any that pisseth against the wall. So David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said unto her, Go up in peace to thine house. See, I have hearkened to thy voice, and have accepted thy person. And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house like the feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing less or more until the morning light. But it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. And it came to pass about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal, that he died. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant from evil, for the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife, which would be lawful because her husband's dead. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, David sent us unto thee to take thee to him to wife. And she arose and bowed herself on her face to the earth and said, Behold, let thine handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my Lord. And Abigail hasted and arose and rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of hers that went after her, and she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives. But Saul had given Michal, his daughter, David's wife, to Phalti, the son of Laish, which was of Galim. Hey, and David had a few wives, man. And he took Nabal's wife and her servants to be his wives when he died. So where's the transgression? Where's the sin? Let's go to the book of 1 Kings 11. But Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come into you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. The transgression wasn't him having multiple wives. It was because he made places of worship for his wives to worship these false gods. Not because he had many wives. He was the king. He could afford it. But because he gave place for them to worship idols, man, that was his transgression, not having multiple wives, man. This is 2 Samuel 12. And the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, There were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was to come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, As the Lord liveth, the man that had done this thing shall surely die, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing and because he had no pity. And Nathan said unto David, Thou art the man. Thus said the Lord Yahweh of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul, and I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. You see? So how is that a sin? The Lord said, I gave you thy master's wives, which it was lawful for a man to pass, and then his wife can be married to another. That's the marriage law. The woman is under the marriage law as long as her husband is alive. So where is the sin? The Lord said, I gave thee thy master's wives, man. So these guys are they're just they're not right, man. They want to pervert the truth in order to be acceptable in Esau's system and in his eyes. Let's go to First Timothy. And we'll start it from the top. This is First Timothy 3:1. This is a true saying: if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. So the bishop is the only one required to have one wife, and the priest, you see, these guys they don't rightly divide the word of truth, man. Let's go to the book of Romans. Uh, 1:18. For the wrath of Yahweh is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. You see, these guys hold the truth in unrighteousness, man. Nowhere does it say that it's a sin to have multiple wives. What do you think the kingdom of heaven is going to be? The law is going to be on our inward parts, and we'll have multiple wives, man. Let's go to the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 14. Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, not to Esau, not to the wicked ass world, but unto Yahweh, a workman that needed not to be ashamed. And these guys are ashamed of the doctrine. That's why they always switching it up, lying and adding and taking away from the scriptures, man. Rightly dividing the word of truth. But shun profane and vain babbling, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. You see? These guys are just, they make up shit as they go, and they follow Esau's guidelines, man, so they can get that funding. Same as the Christian church, man. So called. This is Revelations 22. Verse 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of prophecy, of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, Yahweh shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, Yahweh shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. So you guys, man, you gonna be judged, man. So it behooves you people to listen to the elders of Great Millstone and on down in those camps that teach the sound and like doctrine and tell you where to go look it up, tell you the etymology. You have to study this, man. because it's a lot of bamboozlers and hoodwinkers out here. Hope this been an edifying lesson. I'm going to say Kwam Yasharala, Shalom, and Abba Babal.